Hello again to another partner show on Keys to AWS Optimization. I have the amazing guys from CloudFix with me today to talk all about their amazing tool and to do a demo of it as well. So why don't we do some intros? Stephen, do you want to go first and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Stephen Barr. I'm with CloudFix.
And
Hey
Raoul?
everyone, I'm Raul Subramaniam. I'm the founder of CloudFix. And Steph, thanks for having us on the show.
Absolute pleasure. And these guys, if you haven't seen before, have their own show. Do you want to pitch that quickly while we're on here?
Yeah, go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, it's called AWS Made Easy. We air every Tuesday, and we're doing more AI Fridays as well. We interview awesome guests from AWS, like Steph. We've had Steph on our show. Actually, it's about time to turn the tables at some point soon. We review AWS articles, and we rate them on a scale of 1 cloud to 5. And do they simplify? Do they add complexity? And we try to answer questions for the AWS community.
Correct.
Love
we try to
it.
simplify the fire hose of AWS announcements and amazing services and features that are released every single week and make it easy for AWS customers to take them up, use them, and operate with them efficiently.
Yeah, I can't recommend their show enough. It's so much fun. Make sure to tune in. But of course, these guys work at CloudFix, and that is what we want to highlight today. So as always with our partners, we're focusing on partners that can help you and offer a free element to the tool so that you can get started quickly. But Raul, why don't you give us a brief overview of what CloudFix is and does?
Great. So AWS cost optimization is exactly what CloudFix focuses on, and it is very AWS specific. AWS has 200 plus services, and you need deep knowledge to actually understand how to optimize each and every one of them. So we are not, a service that's spread across, multiple cloud providers. It's only AWS. And what we focus on is the fix in CloudFix. So one of the biggest challenges is that there are numerous tools now over the last decade. There have been tons of tools that have come out that provide great insights about where you can save money. But there's a huge gap between having that insight and actually realizing the savings. And that's where CloudFix comes in. Our entire focus has been for almost 10 years to make sure that we are building automation that is simple, safe, and uses all the AWS recommended best practices to execute those fixes and realize those savings.
Amazing. 10 years. God, you guys are well kind of tuned into what's going on this. Is amazing. So, Stephen, what does it exactly help customers do?
Well, as Raul said, it finds the things that you need to change. And then what we do, we follow all the AWS best practices. And you can even implement CloudFix yourself. If you look at our blog, we show you all the cost and usage report queries, the API calls. We show you exactly how to find all of these misconfigurations. So maybe it's an over-provisioned resource, in which case Compute Optimizer is going to surface a recommendation. Or maybe it's an S3 bucket that doesn't have intelligent tiering turned on and should, in which case we can turn that on. So that's the next step, is the fixer part. And with the fixer, we generate a change manager runbook, which can then remediate whatever issue we find. So like Raul said, it's not just finding the issue, but it's fixing it. And it's doing all those things that your technical account managers, your TAMs are pestering you to do anyway, right? These aren't these secret optimizations that are hidden deep in the documentations. These are things that AWS is recommending you do. We make it easy for you to get that done, so you don't have to devote engineering effort or time, to test these fixers. Or like your favorite one, getting rid of elastic IP addresses that are unused.
Yeah, well, that as always, I love that one. If you don't know me well enough, that's my favorite optimization. The tiny $3.36 you can often save a month by doing it. And Stephen, you kind of touched on it, but who are the main users of this tool? Is it mostly developers, or can it be other parts of the business? What do you see most commonly who are using it?
That's a really good question. I mean, it's like FinOps, it really brings everyone to the table, right? The developers, the DevOps folks have to sign off on it and make sure that this is a change that they feel comfortable with. And we try to make our changes as low impact as we can. That's the whole, we're very conservative. We don't want to make changes that would impact performance in any way. We want to make changes that just reduce cost. So the DevOps folks have to sign off on it because it's their organization. And then ideally in a company, they would have a FinOps practice that's sort of driving this across the organization, because sometimes you see one part of the organization is disjoint from another. So ideally, the FinOps lead in the organization can establish best practices across the group.
Yeah,
Nice.
I put it as in a slightly
Oh.
different way as well. So it all depends on how you run your organization. If you,
Right.
at one end of the spectrum, run your organization like a dictatorship and you want to centrally fire off a whole bunch of cost optimizations, then CloudFix is the perfect solution, because centrally you can decide what you want to trigger and it will go ahead and fix all of it across your entire org. On the other end of the spectrum, when you have a very distributed team, like Stephen was just saying, where you have a FinOps group that has to work closely with a technical team, and you need to delegate different permissions and schemes to different people so that they can look at the changes being made and execute them, then that is supported in CloudFix too. So it's the entire spectrum of all kinds of FinOps versions that you'll find across different organizations.
I see. Okay, Raul, the big question. Talk to us about the pricing for this.
Okay, so this is really, really simple. The first part of CloudFix is that you can actually run CloudFix with a simple onboarding and an assessment, and the assessment is absolutely free. It will actually go through your entire organization, pull up all the accounts, look at all the areas where money can be saved, and will give you the full extensive report of all the finders we have, and will tell you how much money you can potentially save. Now, if you want to turn on the fixers, then the pricing is $25,000 for every 5 million of AWS spent. So it's really flat, simple pricing, and it's a very tiny proportion of what you would actually spend. So it's a no-brainer. We wanted to make it a no-brainer, so everyone adopts it. Everyone, kind of uses it to the maximum extent possible, and it's really, really simple pricing.
Awesome. Okay, let's get into the demo side. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Let's do
just
it.
okay, I'll have to share that. Just to build on one thing Raul said real quick. Like,
Yeah.
Raul and I are makers, builders, we got the printers.
Well, you can hear.
Yeah, exactly. We like doing that kind of stuff. And so that is culture is through CloudFix, right? You can build it yourself, you can do it yourself. How you can actually make it, that's all on our blog. But implementing it yourself, when it's part of your business, that's where it's, we've done it over thousands and thousands and thousands of accounts. We've tested it. Some of the things like the Elastic IP address finder fixer, the engineering effort to do that for one organization, you might lose out just based on, you might lose what you saved because it takes a long time to actually write all that code. Whereas we've, spread that cost over many thousands of accounts. Okay, so this is the CloudFix window. This is the CloudFix window. You can see we have finder fixers that are categorized as easy, medium, advanced, and also best practice. So what these finder fixers are, let me give you an example. Under the easy, there's a quick site, delete idle users. So if you're familiar with QuickSight, it's really easy to just create a new user. Someone wants to look at a dashboard once, and then you've got that recurring between $9 to $25 a month, right? It's like a Netflix account, right? That's just sitting there, recurring charges. If you're not using it, we have automation that will find QuickSight accounts that aren't being used and then delete. Make it easy for you to delete it just by proposing that change. So we see here there's potential savings of, in this account, there's $4,000 of idle QuickSight users, so people who haven't used their QuickSight accounts in, I believe it's 90 days. So that's just one. GP2 to GP3. Now this one that you see the potential savings is low because in this particular account, they've already been applied, right? GP2 is strictly worse than GP3. GP3 is better in every single way. So this will go through, it retypes them. That can be done in place, no impact to performance at all. And for the same price, GP3 is going to be better. And some of the medium ones, there's delete idle NAT gateways. So you have to go look at the CloudWatch logs, make sure the traffic they're idle for over a period of time, and it'll propose to delete them with Systems Manager, Change Manager. So let's look at one that has a change. We can see over here, you can click on this one and you can click on execute. Now I don't want to hit execute because this isn't we have to check with the team to make sure they want that. But yes, it'll show you, okay, this particular NAT gateway hasn't been used in a certain period of time. So you can hit execute and it will get rid of that NAT gateway.
Awesome. And I can see that you've got the export button as well. So you can share these reports with other teams without kind of just by sharing them out, right?
That's absolutely right. There's one other thing that I definitely want to add over here is that when you hit execute, you're actually not executing anything. What you're doing is you're creating a change manager request that is going into the account. So we have two concepts. We have a concept of the change manager template, and we have the change manager request. So the reason why we use change manager is because one of the biggest issues with actually writing fixes is the fact that whatever tool you use, traditionally you've had to give admin privileges to that tool to be able to make all these extensive resource changes, right? And that is the number one security. Do not do this kind of a diktat. So you don't want to ever hand over admin credentials to one of these tools. So thankfully, we work closely with AWS. Change Manager came about, and that is the perfect vehicle to actually execute our fixers. So we allow users to actually approve Change Manager templates, in which case, every time that there is a particular request where the template has been approved, all of those requests will get automatically approved, and the user or the customer has to explicitly go and approve that. Okay, the tool does nothing. The tool only has permissions to write to Change Manager and nothing else. So it's safe, it's secure, and it is the best way to actually execute fixes.
Oh, I see. That's clever. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So that's why Change Manager is so critical to executing these kind of fixes. Because if you don't use Change Manager, you are literally giving the keys to the kingdom to the tool, and that is a big security faux pas. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and we don't want that responsibility. We don't want that access to your account. The only thing we can write is here's a Change Manager document, right? And what was really cool is that there's all these different systems that if you were to do this without CloudFix, you'd have to manage all these credentials, all these different accounts, what accounts are using what regions. It would be a lot of administrative overhead. And then each fix has different ways of applying it. Some of them might be using a particular API, or is it, there's a lot there. And you'd have to manage the permissions and settings and environments and accounts. And that's just a big security risk having that all in one place. So yeah, it's much better just go through Change Manager. That's the only thing that CloudFix can write to.
And the nice thing about Change Manager is that you can actually look at the template and literally look at the code changes that are going to be made, or look at the changes that the code is going to make, rather. And you can review it, and you as the customer get to approve it if you feel that that's the right way. If you want to make small tweaks to it, you can do that too. So that's the beauty of having these Change Manager templates that really simplify the entire permission scheme, ensure that this is absolutely secure, and the AWS recommended way of actually executing these kind of large scale fixes.
Amazing. So yeah, anything else you want to showcase on the demo?
I'm just going to say one other quick thing before I hand it over back to Stephen, which is, as you can see in this dashboard, there aren't many fancy graphs and stuff like that, because CloudFix purely focuses on the fixes. There are amazing tools that are already available in the AWS ecosystem that will give you all the visualizations and all the finders and all the data. Like you should use the Cloud Intelligence dashboard, the Kudos dashboard, the and the various Compute Optimizer and tools like that. And we draw from all of those tools and basically bring the findings in here. And we focus this entire simple system on fixes and nothing else.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I just wanted to point out a few of the advanced ones that are coming out. So this one's interesting, the EOL versions. So if you are using an older version of RDS, at some point, if it goes out of standard support, it's going to go to extended support, which is more than double the cost. And then if you're doing that for 2 years, then it goes to like 5x the cost. And so this will alert you all in one place. And that's not something that we could just switch right away, because there's a reason you're staying on some old version. But it's going to tell you. It's going to say all in one place. Here's your EOL. And then we're also adding more machine learning, SageMaker, AI, ML. So we've got SageMaker right size instances, delete idle SageMaker models. SageMaker is a great way to increase your AWS spend pretty drastically. So we are making sure that on the other end, we can help you lower that.
Yeah. Amazing. If you're not paying attention to those costs can rise very, very quickly.
Yeah. And the end of life, so these advanced ones are these kind of this dashboard, well, this view that we're looking at the moment, which is going through the account and telling us where we could optimize. All of these contained in the free version, or is that like a paid feature for some of the advanced ones?
The assessments are available in the free version for everyone. So you can just sign up, onboard, and you'll get all of these insights right in the free version.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have to check out. I mean, like they said, there are so many of these things. If you're not monitoring, then then it could cause a big thing, especially the end of lifers. So make sure to go and try out CloudFix. Here's the link again, to make sure you go try out and see. And then if you want to invest in the fixes, then like Stephen said, it's a lot of work done for you. You don't have to reinvest anywhere else. One more thing before we finish, I want to highlight, this is a terrible link, but it'll be in the description below. That is for our episode, our session at reInvent 2023, the Cloud Saving Spectacular. If you want to see us and Darko having a fun time on stage, go check out that video to learn more about optimization. Okay, Stephen, Raul, anything else you want to say before we finish?
Just thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, and thanks for having us here.
Absolute pleasure. Love seeing you guys. As I said, go check out CloudFix. Let us know in the comments if you do. Keep on saving, guys. Thanks.